It's never going to be easy to try and understand what's been happening in the world of wrestling in India, but let's try and figure some things out. Let's start with looking at it from the wrestlers' perspective. Some of them have been aggrieved that the Wrestling Federation of India president, Bhushan Sharan Singh, has not behaved well with them. Some of them have alleged that there have been sexual harassment against them. This needed to be investigated. The sports ministry was given the chance. It had set up an oversight committee. Some of us believe that the oversight committee should have included a lawyer and an NGO representative for sense of transparency. Unfortunately, it included two wrestlers, and there seemed to have been some kind of conflict with how the oversight committee went about its task. The wrestlers not happy with the outcome. Perhaps they don't even have a copy of that, but they have sensed that the Wrestling Federation of India president was given a clean sheet, and therefore they went on their second round of agitation. Now, it's important to understand that once the Oversight Committee presented its report to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, the ministry needed to act on that. They needed to share the document in public, and if they didn't want to share all of it, they should have shared the findings and the recommendations, at least the key ones. And they waited until the wrestlers went on strike again, sat on dharna at near Jantar Mantar in Delhi, and then they went ahead and released only a portion of it to say that the Wrestling Federation of India elections needed to be conducted under an independent agency. And the ministry then asked the IOA, the Indian Olympic Association, to conduct the election inside 45 days. Now the wrestlers wanted more, and therefore they went and filed a police complaint. And then police took a little while to do their preliminary investigation and has filed an FIR. No, in fact, they filed two FIRs as of last night. Now the wrestlers need to respect the fact that FIRs have been filed. They need to go back to training. Couple of very important ranking events are coming up. They have already missed a couple, and in May and June with ranking events and with the Asian Games coming up not long after that, and the World Championship, they need to be training. The kind of training they're doing near Jantar Mantar is very good for optics, but not for sport. I think the wrestlers need to understand that. They need to give the investigating agencies a chance to go down to the bottom and come up with whatever verdict and accept it with grace, no matter what it is. All parties need to accept the investigation, support it, and then come out with an acceptance of the outcome of the investigation. I think you need to trust the police. The wrestlers have raised objection at every step, and that has not gone down too well with the sports ministry. In the first instance, they wanted Babita Phogat included in the oversight committee. They got that. Now they wanted an FIR registered. It has been done by the Delhi police. They have to be patient. They have to wait for the outcome. Had they gone to the police earlier, we might have seen a lot of positive developments in the world of sport, but they delayed filing a case. There has been a delay from the ministry's side, and the IOA. It also had an investigation committee. It had an inquiry committee under Mary Kom. Very ostensibly, the verdict is not out. They have not even been able to meet the witnesses, as we were told by the IOA Joint Secretary and Acting CEO only a couple of days ago. I think it's important that everyone understand the gravity of the situation and gets to the bottom of it all soon. Indian sport cannot afford to wallow in doubt. It cannot afford to wallow in inaction. The wrestlers need to be back on the mat. The officials must be seen as empathetic and caring, and it's very critical that all of the ecosystem comes together as one and delivers a good outcome for Indian wrestling. The fact that the restless agitation has now acquired political overtones is not going to be good for them. Of course, the government can't be vindictive. They cannot keep them out of camps or out of the Target Olympic Podium scheme. They have to be seen as fair, and they can't do much. But the political overtones that the agitation has now acquired is not doing the wrestlers any good. I'm sure they realize that and will go back to being athletes first, good citizens, and ensure that justice is done.
मंत्री से मेरी कोई उम्मीद नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर प्रधानमंत्री जी को इतनी भी परवाह होती तो कम से कम बात तो करते, बुला तो लेते। फिर से जब आपने मेडल लेके आए तो आपने बुलाया ना, घर चाय पिलाई तो बुलाइए, बात करिए। बच्चियां हैं, बच्चे हम सबकी बच्चियां हैं। और मतलब क्या कह रही, ये कह रही है ना कि हमारी
2024 का इलेक्शन है।
अब भगवान जाने, मैं आपसे पूछ रही हूँ कि भाई इस आदमी को बचाने के लिए इतना सारा क्यों किया जा रहा है, जब इतनी सारी लड़कियां जिन्होंने देश के लिए इतना किया है, अपने परिवारों के लिए किया है, प्रदेश के लिए किया है, देश के लिए किया है, और इतना मतलब पर्सनल संघर्ष है इनका, आप देख सकते हैं। इन्होंने इतना किया है और आप उसको बचा रहे हैं। भाई इनको बचाओ ना। हमारे देश के बारे में ये क्या कहता है अगर हम अपने बच्चियों को नहीं बचा सकते? देखिए, आप भी जानते हैं, हम भी जानते हैं कि कमेटियां क्या होती हैं। बात टालने का काम होता है कमेटियां। हम कमेटी बना रहे हैं, आप कमेटी के साथ बात कर लो आप, और फिर बात खत्म। यही चाहती है ना सरकार। क्यों? चाहे आप उत्तर प्रदेश के एक गाँव में देखिए, चाहे कहीं पे भी देखिए, जब महिला का शोषण होता है तो सरकार मौन हो जाती है, चुप हो जाती है। उस बेचारी महिला को हर जगह जाकर एफआईआर दर्ज नहीं होता, एफआईआर दर्ज होता है तो उसकी कॉपी नहीं मिलती। ये कोई नई कहानी नहीं है, लेकिन इन लड़कियों में इतना दम है, इतना आत्मविश्वास है और इतनी करेज है, ब्रेवरी है कि ये लोग खड़े हैं और कह रहे हैं कि हम ये होने नहीं देंगे। तो पूरा देश, मैं आपको बता सकती हूँ कि प्रधानमंत्री जी पहचाने नहीं पहचाने, इनके मंत्री पहचाने नहीं पहचाने, इनकी सरकार पहचाने नहीं पहचाने, पूरा देश इनके साथ है, पूरा देश। और सिर्फ ये सरकार उस आदमी को बचाना चाहती है। सबसे पहले उस आदमी को उस पद से हटाइए।
जो भी युवा सपना देखता है कि एक दिन मैं भी ओलंपिक खेल खेलूंगा, वो आपके साथ खड़ा है। एक भारतीय आपके साथ खड़ा है, आप अकेले नहीं हो। आपने इस पूरे देश को जगा दिया है। एक आदमी के दिल में बसी हुई है आपका यह संघर्ष। पूरा देश आपके साथ है।
Wrestling bouts take less than 10 minutes for the results to be out, but police investigations take time. I think the wrestlers need to understand that. We've already heard murmurs of how they are unhappy with the Delhi police and how they've raised questions about the veracity of the Delhi police investigation. I think they need to understand that the Supreme Court of India, no less than the Supreme Court, is actually involved, is keeping a close watch on the investigation. And I'm sure if something goes wrong with Delhi police investigation, the Supreme Court will haul up the right people over the coals. I think the wrestlers need to go back to wrestling. I think one of the most important point that emerges from all the consideration that we've had in the past few minutes is that the wrestlers must go back to the mat. I think it's high time.